Thank you so much for joining me today. This video is section 4.2, Simplify Expressions and Combine Like Terms, Part 2. So if we were in the classroom, today would just be a good way to work together in groups to really understand these concepts. So it's nothing new, it's just a continuation. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. So I'll go ahead and start by reading these. So number one, evaluate both 3 times the quantity x plus 2 and x plus 6 for x equals 0. The results in problem 1 should be equal. If not, check your work. If the results are equal, does that mean 3 times the quantity x plus 2 and x plus 6 are equivalent? Explain. So go ahead and give these two, just these first two, a try. Okay, so hit pause and come back when you are ready. Okay, so 3 times the quantity x plus 2, evaluate for x equals 0. So I'll just go ahead and plug in a 0 here. So I have 3 times the quantity 0 plus 2 is really 3 times 2, which is 6. And then it said also evaluate x plus 6 for x equals 0. So I plug that in, and I get 6, and I got the same. So it says that they should be equal, which they are. So that's good. And then it says, does that mean that those two expressions are equivalent? So at this point, this is called just an exploration, so there is no right or wrong answer. So I'll just squeeze in a little maybe, because we don't know yet, really. I mean, it kind of looks like it is, but maybe, maybe not. Now for number 3, it says evaluate, and it's those same two expressions, but now instead of 0, they want me to plug in 5. So go ahead and do that and see if you get the same thing. And then go ahead and try to answer number 4, which says explain why it is good practice to evaluate expressions several times, each time for a different value of x, to be more confident that the expressions are equivalent. Okay, so try that. Pause, come back when you're ready. All right, so I went ahead and I plugged in the 5, and then that was 3 times 7, which is 21, and I plugged in 5 for the x plus 6, which gave me 11. So this is telling me that maybe these two, well, not maybe, now we know these two are not equivalent, right? So these two expressions were not equivalent. And why it's good practice is because sometimes weird things, especially with 0 and 1, it makes it look like it's equivalent, but really you want to pick other values to be more confident that they truly are equivalent. Okay, so if you're checking it this way, you want to plug in multiple values of x to make sure for sure that it really is equivalent. So number 5 says now go ahead and simplify 3 times x plus 2, and then evaluate both the original and your simplified version with several values to check to make sure that your work is correct. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause, come back when you're ready. Okay, so if you simplify 3 times the quantity x plus 2, distributing, you get a 3x plus 6. And it said try several values. So if you picked a few, hopefully they all ended up being correct. Okay, I just picked just one just to show you that it does work out with the x equals 2. I got 12 for both. All right, very nice. So now moving on to the bottom part of our page here. So we have these students have solved these 3 different problems, and we want to see if we can find any errors. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause right here on your screen and take a look through it. Try to find all of the errors that you can, and then come back when you're ready. All right, so let's go ahead and see how you did. So I'm going to take a look here. I'm going to see if I were to do it, what I would get. So I would take this 3 and I would get 3x, which they did, so that's good. And then I would take this 3, distribute it to the 5, I'd get 15. Uh-oh, they only got 5. So there's a mistake. Oops, that should be 15. And then finally plus a 4x, which they got. So now let's see how they did not counting that mistake. Okay, so we'll just fix the 5 for them. We'll put in 15. So then they went ahead and they rewrote the x's next to each other, which is fine. You can do that if that helps you out. So it's not wrong. It's just an extra step that they had to write. But then they combined it correct. They did the 3x and 4x got 7x. So they just made that one mistake of forgetting to distribute the 3 to the 5. And the second one, what did they do here? So they had 2 times the quantity x times y. Oh, they added an extra 2. You only distribute if there's a plus or minus inside your parenthesis. When it's multiplication, that is not correct. Okay, so that's a whole extra 2 in there. The answer would just be 2xy without any parentheses. So, yeah, this whole extra 2, let's just put a big question mark. We don't know what you're doing here. And that would continue to here. This is incorrect. So it would just be 2xy. So let me just write what I said one more time just to drive home the point here. So when it's multiplication, you don't distribute. If it had been something like this with a plus or a minus in here, that's when you distribute. Okay? I'm going to erase that. And finally on this last one. All right, they had 5 plus x minus 3. And they like to put like terms right next to each other. So it looks like they tried to move the 3. So they swapped the 3 and the x, which is fine. However, when you're moving parts around, you have to bring that sign with it, right? So this minus, if they really wanted to move it, they needed to move the minus with the 3. And same thing with the plus with the x, because they just totally changed that problem. So this should be a plus. And then there's a lot of writing going on here, so I'm just going to rewrite it from here, what the answer should be. So it would be 5 minus 3 plus x, which would be 2 plus x, or x plus 2. Okay? But seeing where they went, let's just say, like, what if this whole first line was right? Did they get it right from there? So they had the 5 plus 3 that they would have had, an 8, and they had their minus x. Oh, and then when they went to go rewrite it again, they made the same mistake again. They had this minus with the x when they went to go and move that whole term. They didn't bring the sign with it. And then for some reason, they changed the 8 to a negative 8. So that's not good. Okay, so this third one here is just showing us that you have to make sure to bring those signs with the term. Okay? And now on the other side of the page, we have, these are problems out of your book. So this is in section 4.2. This is 49 through 68, which is excellent practice on translating these phrases because I know that they are challenging. Okay, so you're going to translate, simplify the expression, and then for that bottom section, let x be a number, translate the expression into an English phrase, so the opposite of what that first block is, and then simplify. So for these ones, I would just have you work together in groups and see how you would do. So to check your answers for this one, just work individually or start up a group discussion. Either way is fine. The odds are in the back of your book. So go ahead and work through these, check the odds. The evens, I'll go ahead and post the teacher's solutions right in this module here. So come back and look for these solutions to the even problems just here in the module. All right. And that wraps up today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.